For the third year and counting, Richard Skipper has been celebrating the artists you love.
And what are some of the things that you've really run out of time? And we've got to talk about your latest. I want to go back a little bit, first of all, and celebrate a true legend.
Richard Skipper is all about celebrating life, art, and his guest body of work.
And did you pursue performing opportunities while you were in high school?
Please join us while he showcases these diverse and talented individuals. Here's Richard Skipper.
Happy Monday, everyone, and welcome to the latest edition of Richard Skipper Celebrates. Who or what are you celebrating today? There's a lot to celebrate when and if we take the time to do so. It's National Taffy Day. That's something to celebrate if you like taffy. I love taffy, but it's not on my diet plan, so I can't have any of that. I'm also celebrating the fact that tonight I am going to the theater. Broadway backwards. Broadway Cares Equity Fights AIDS. It's my favorite night of the year to go to the theater. It's exciting, and it's the first time in 2 years that all of us have been able to go back to the theater and to go live. I'm also celebrating the fact that two of my favorite entertainers are here today, and that's Michael Orland and Marilu Henner. They are both here, and we are celebrating their show, which is coming to Feinstein's 54 Below. We are celebrating this exciting new book, Grease, Tell Me More, Tell Me More. We are celebrating risk-taking, which is the word of the day, the phrase of the day. So if you comment today with the hashtag risk-taking, you may win some taffy or something else. I don't know. We'll decide that at the end of the show. But I'm going to bring on Marilu Henner and Michael Orland, and here they are. And the taffy is in the background. Thank you both for being here. And I want to begin by asking, and you can decide who will go first. Who or what are you celebrating today?
Well, I'm celebrating coming to New York this Wednesday because Michael and I have an action-packed week. After I get there, he comes a little bit later. We're going to be in Fire Island. So exciting. I've never been to Fire Island before, and I'm doing my show that Michael and I put together. We did it at Bucks County, 19 shows then. We've done 29 shows since the pandemic started, and we're just raring to go with more of them. And so we're going to be at Fire Island this Saturday, the 28th.
Are you at the Ice Palace?
Pardon me?
Are you at the Ice Palace? Where are you performing in Fire Island?
We're at the White Theater, I think it's called, the WHYTE.
Okay.
Yeah, I've never been to Fire Island, so I don't know any of the theaters there. But it sounds like I cannot wait.
Michael, have you been to Fire Island?
I've never been
there. I think I was there maybe 35 years ago when I was eating taffy.
Oh my God, Marilu, I cannot believe, first of all, that you've never been to Fire Island.
It's crazy.
It's one of my favorite places in the world. And I know that the two of you are, and I'm going to talk about collaboration in a few moments. Michael will be back. Mercury is in retrograde, everyone. So anything can and will happen. There you are again, Michael.
Yes, yes.
Michael,
we're also doing this show, just so you know, not just at Fire Island. We're doing it at 54 Below on June 8th, my show, and then we're doing the Grease show on June 1st and June 6th. But June 8th, we're doing the show at 54 Below as well. So I hope people come and see it because it's a lot of fun.
I think that you're doing a live stream of that show, aren't you?
No, I'm not doing a live stream. You know why? Because I show all these incredible clips from Taxi. I do a whole song about Dancing with the Stars. And if you do a live show, you can't. If you do a stream show, you can't show any clips, which is kind of a drag.
Wow. Well, I have major dental surgery the next day. I have to fast, but hopefully I can still go and see the show the night before.
I hope so.
Yes, I want to be there because I definitely am going to be at Feinstein's 54 Below on June 1st because you are producing a major event that evening celebrating, I can't believe, 50 years of Grease. The anniversary of, can you believe it's been 50 years?
You know, I was in high school when I first did Grease because I knew Jim Jacobs from Community Theater in Chicago. he called me. I met him when I was 15. He called me 2 years later, and he said, Henner, I've written the show. It may never get off the ground.
Your picture is on the
converted-"
lower part here. I love your high school picture.
Yeah.
This is what a great book this is. Everyone
I
get
know.
this book. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Yeah, so I did the original company in Chicago before it even went to Broadway, because it was such a gritty, Chicago-centric show that when some of the people went to New York to audition, I said, no, I don't think it's going to be a hit. So Grease went to Broadway and I went to college. And so I tell all those stories and stuff in my show, and in the June 1st show I will be telling, and June 6th show too. Yeah. So I got to do the original company, and now I did get to do the first national, and then I went to the Broadway company, and a lot of the original people, a lot of the people from the first national company will be there and performing, a whole group of us.
I am so excited. I have my tickets. I'm going to be there celebrating
Great.
both of you and so many other people. My dear, dear soulmate and friend, Carol Demas, is going to be there. I'm just so excited about that evening. And I want to talk about the word of the day is risk taking. And I'm going to ask each of you, and I'll start with you, Marilu. What do you think is the biggest risk that you've taken in your career that propelled you to the next level in your career?
Okay, I'll try to tell this story as briefly as possible. Okay, I had a contract with CBS. They had to find a pilot for me. I went to Rio with Johnny Travolta because we were dating then. They called and they said, we want you to honor your contract with this show, Paper Chase. I said, I haven't even read the script. And I said, can I do it as a guest star? And they said, okay. So I ended up having to leave Rio, came home, shot the thing as a guest star, and then they tested it. And I honored my contract with another pilot. And then they tested it and they said, oh my gosh, she tested really high. We own her, don't we? And they were like, no, we don't, because she already honored her contract over here. And they said, well, offer whatever she can get, whatever she wants. And in the meantime, I was auditioning for Taxi, and they kept bringing me in, but I was wrong for the part, but they liked me. So they kept going and going and going. So Paper Chase was a sure thing. Taxi was a maybe. And I said, let's hang in there for Taxi. I have a good feeling about it. So that was a pretty big risk.
That was a major good risk. Thank you for that one. And what about you, Michael? What do you think is the biggest risk that you've taken in your career that propelled you to the next level?
I think leaving the house during COVID was a outcome. I had a secure job living in New York in the early 80s, playing in the piano bars. I was making a nice living, playing piano bars every night. That was like my wage job, I called it. And, I was on working on a cruise ship with our dear friend Celeste, all three of us, friends with all three of us.
Celeste was here at our house yesterday. We had brunch together. Yes.
Heat. And we all love Celeste, but Celeste was hired to go on a cruise ship to be the opening act for Waylon Flowers and Rita Moreno, among others. And I, got offered a job with Waylon Flowers when I was on that cruise ship, and I was like, you know what? Should I take a risk and move to LA and see what happens? And that was a lot of years ago, over 30 years ago, and I've never looked back. And I think sometimes it's fun to just leave the safe and secure for the unknown and just take a risk. It's like, we never know what's out there till we try it. And that's the thing, is like, I tell kids that when they say, I want to move to New York or I want to move to LA, I'm like, try it, take a risk. What's the worst you can do is go back home. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, I say, go for it.
And I start my shows, we're already into the throes of this, with a surprise question that I haven't even looked at. So, Marilu, the question is, this for you, because with your memory, which is legendary, if you had to relive the same day for the rest of your life, which day would you choose? Interesting question for you.
Very interesting question. Well, you mean besides meeting Michael Orland and working with him?
Of course.
If I had to relive,
what day that was. Tell everyone what day that was.
That was August the 3rd of 2008. It was a Sunday.
And we were doing a benefit in San Francisco.
In San Francisco. Yeah. I have two sons, so it's hard to pick which of their births I would relive. But they'd both be born if it were the second son's birth. So I would pick the day Joey was born, which was November 12th, 1995, which was also a Sunday, November 12th, 1995, because I already had little Nicky and he was there too, like right before and after. So yeah, I'd probably pick that day because it started at Comic Relief. I went from being on stage at Comic Relief, falling asleep at 2 hours later, and having a baby in my arms an hour and 12 minutes after that. So it was a pretty crazy day. So I'd probably pick his birth, which you can see, as a matter of fact. It's called We're Having a Baby, because I did it as a documentary, and it's on YouTube. We're Having a Baby, where I also interview different celebrities having their children. So you can actually watch me give birth. I'm a woman with no secrets.
You certainly have no secrets. What a great deduction to come up with that, though. Good. That's very good. And what about you, Michael? Other than meeting Marilu, what would be the day?
Marilu, and working on stage with Marilu is such a treat for me. It really is. But I'm trying to think of like important days that are. I don't know if I have. I mean, I always like meeting my dog Jinx. I don't know. I'm like literally like. I'm trying to think of really important. I mean, there's so many. We have like. For us that like are in the arts and stuff, there are so many huge like milestone days that we have, that we remember, and that whatever, not like Marilu remembers it, but you know, there's, so I have a lot of them, like, you know, meeting Waylon Flowers and meeting Barry Manilow, and you know, my life changing because of some of them. And Celeste is actually texting me right now and I can't look at it, but that's okay.
Oh, you can look at it, see what she has to say. Is she reminding you of something?
Yeah, but I think I'm going to disappear for a minute. Let's see.
No, don't. Oh, well, he disappeared. Well, while he's disappeared, I'm
meeting. Oh, she said meeting Celeste was on a big
meeting
day.
Celeste. And I will say meeting Celeste was the highlight of my life as well, because I love her so much. In this business, and because I have the two of you together, I really want to talk about collaboration, because both of you are. Marilu, you have been part of two amazing TV series, and of course shows as well, that are all about ensemble, collaboration, and everything. And I want to talk about the collaborative process with both of you, and why it is so important in this business. There's so many people, especially young people, Michael, you know so well, who with a show such as American Idol, where they want to be in the spotlight and they think it's about being in the spotlight and having all eyes on them. But we all know it's more than just being in that spotlight at that moment. It's about everything that's going on around them, the technicians and everything that goes on. I want to talk about the collaborative process and why it is so important in this business. And when you first truly became aware of the collaborative process in your careers.
Sorry about the plane. You could probably hear it because we're in the same place. Michael, do you want to go, or I'll?
Like under, I feel like we're under like at the at runway 27L right now. I'm sorry. It's Mercury going retrograde Airlines.
I know. Yes.
I have to just say, I want to say one thing about that. About wait, I forgot what we were talking about.
The collaboration.
Collaboration.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, I think collaboration in this business is so important. I think it's as equal as talent. I think if you're not a fun game player, you know, play a team player. I'm a team player, and you're not like a fun, like Marilu and I spend more time off stage and at meals and at rehearsals than we do on stage. And I think it's part of it. You have to have a rapport with somebody, and you have to like hanging with them. It's not just like, let's just have fun on stage together. This is like a really intimate relationship. And I think that like singers and pianists, I think a lot of people have that. And I think even like on my job in American Idol, I think, you know, getting along with others, having fun. I think I was like, not just comic relief, but like building confidence, and, you know, that's all part of it. And I think that you have to collaborate with everybody. You can't just be a diva unless, you know, you warrant it or whatever, you know, whatever. But I think the people that collaborate and that play well with others go so far in this business. And again, like I take pride in being collaborative with everybody I work with. And so like when Marilu and I are together, it feeds artistically what we do. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally. Yes, for sure. I came from a big family, and I think everybody has a filter through which they see their lives.
Speaking of filters. Okay.
That I did, which was.
Wait, Marilu, start over.
Start again. We lost you for a moment.
Second. You
did? I got a phone call, so that's what happened. Can you see me now?
Yes.
Am I good?
You're back. Yes.
Okay.
Now that little
king of yours. Yes.
It's crazy. Okay, so my filter is family. The filter through which I've seen my life my entire time. I grew up in a household with 6 brothers and sisters. There were 6 siblings, my parents, and we had a crazy upbringing. And so here's the thing. If you are interested in the family, you know that there are sometimes you're going to be working with difficult people. You have to somehow, you don't always get your own way. You learn sort of the rules of the road for getting along with people, especially when you come from a big family. And every job that I've done, whether it's the 2 big sitcoms I did, Taxi and Evening Shade, or the 2 huge Broadway projects, Chicago and Grease, there was always that sense of family. I looked for it. I tried to create it. When I was in charge, I threw parties. I always try to create that family sense. And that doesn't mean you're always going to get along with people, but you understand that it is a collaboration. You understand that intrinsic to the experience is collaborating. It has to be. Otherwise, you're just out there by yourself without anybody around you. And who wants somebody like that? So you have to make adjustments. I mean, maybe this is why I'm on my 3rd and final husband, but you find ways to collaborate with people. And then when you have them, you take them to your heart. Like Michael and I, we will work together as much as we possibly can because, we adore one another and it just really works for us.
I have a question from Rosa Puzo. She said, how is the collaboration on Evening Shade?
Oh, that was great. That was like going to a master class every day. Come on, with people like Bert and Burt Reynolds, Hal Holbrook, Elizabeth Ashley, Ossie Davis, Charlie Durning. Each day was like a master class. I mean, I loved it because, what I could bring to the party was I had already done a sitcom and nobody else had done that. So I was like teaching them the rules of the road in terms of like sitcoms. But I mean, they were genius. I mean, it just the whole experience was amazing. And everyone had a different style. Everyone had a different kind of, not so much work ethic, but they approached their characters differently. Some people knew their lines right away. Some people didn't want to learn them till the end. And so you really saw how everyone stayed true to who they were, and it worked. We were a real family on that show.
Now, I have a question for each of you, and I don't want names or specifics that will give away anything because I'm not about gossip, and I am not about hurting anyone in this business. I'm all about celebrating. But was there ever a situation in either of your careers where the collaboration did not exist? And if so, how did you get through those situations? Either of you can decide who will go first.
Do you want to go first, Michael, or do you want me to go?
I might be quick because I'm going to say I don't think I have. And I think the relationship with a singer and what I do, a pianist, is so completely different. I've heard about before I worked with certain people, they were like, oh, she's going to be the worst. And I've never had that experience. So I have to say that I don't have an answer for that because I experienced it and I'm blessed because of that. But Marilu, I want to hear yours.
Well, having said that, I grew up in a big family with a lot of siblings and a lot of people in and out of my house constantly. I think I've always, even as a little kid, I found that bad behavior fascinates me because I like to do the deep dive and I like to figure out the pathology of the person and why they might act the way they do. And I had 3 experiences in my career with very difficult people. And I kind of sort of won them over at the end, or at least enough to be able to work with them. But everyone warned me. I took the warnings and I could see what everybody was talking about. And sometimes it was harder than others. And I just kept praying and I kept going home to my family and thinking like, at least I get to go home to my beautiful family. And, their punishment is they have to walk around in that personality all the time. So I just always kept my, not blinders on, but I kept my focus on the job that I had to do. And that, I think, is always the most important thing that you can do. You can't allow yourself to be torn down by people who are trying to throw you off balance or trying to unnerve you in some way. And also it's like a dog smells fear. And I didn't want to give in to like the fear that I might have been feeling, because I felt that would only like aggravate the situation. So, but I have some beautiful letters from all three people at the end of the experience.
I love that. You just said two things that all of my friends know that I constantly say. Number one, keep your blinders on and stay in your lane. So thank you for saying that. And number two, that they have to live with that there all the time. And I'm always saying that. So thank you for bringing that up as well. When I first started in this business, KT Sullivan, who I know that you know, Michael, said to me, one of the greatest pieces of advice that I got in this business was have at least 5 people who know your show, so you're never at a loss. So when you find the right person that you love, and there's always that person that is always at the top of the list that you're going to reach out to, that's gold in this business. And obviously you two have found each other in that. So how, when that first time that you worked together and you knew it clicked, when, where, and did that happen for both of you?
Well, I feel bad for somebody else now.
For me with Marilu, it happened on our first rehearsal. I just knew, like, I think on her first rehearsal, people an important date in their life into a fishbowl. Here comes the plane. I'm sorry.
That's good. Yeah.
Cool. She put a name and an important date in a fishbowl, and she literally pulls the date out in the middle of the show and will tell somebody where she was, what she was doing, what day it was. If it was an anniversary, she'll say, and she also says what the song that was big at the time. And so I think one of our first rehearsals, she gave me a list of like, I don't know, maybe 400 songs, and with some keys, and because she literally, we were like, here are the songs that are important to me that I remember from 1960 till today. They were literally songs, a bunch of songs from every year. And I just thought, this is going to be the most fun ever. And it was. And it just turns out, here's the thing. We're doing show business, and we're putting on shows. We're making people feel happy and forget they had bills and COVID and all that stuff and sickness. And we're making people happy with what we do. So it's all, if it's not fun and if it's not love filled, and like, it's like, why do it? And I know that's how Marilu is too. And we just have when we work.
And let me just tell you something. Michael's got the most glorious dog in the history of dogs. Okay. This dog, Jinx, she is gorgeous, first of all. And I always say, don't anyone tell Jinx she's a dog, because she could get away with so much. This dog was on stage with us in the wings, totally quiet, so beautiful, so easygoing. While I was doing my shows at Bucks County, and you never heard her bark. She never did anything. She was like, I don't think she's real. I think somebody put a spell on Jinx, and she's really, somebody just put a spell, and she's a dog for the time being, but not for always.
And when Marilu told us that we were going to Bucks County, I'm like, oh my God, how am I going to be without my dog for 3 weeks? She's like, bring her. And I was like, really? Can I? And it was the best thing ever. We found a theater dog.
Let me tell you something else. We've had birthdays recently that Michael's been part of with my family. My niece, who's 7, and my nephew, who's 9, they love Michael. They ask for Michael. Everybody in my family adores him. He is such a part of our family now, because Michael is like, you just put him anywhere and he's just the life of the party, and he's just, he connects with people, and he's just amazing.
Michael, you froze, and a gorgeous froze at that, freeze at that.
All right.
So what were you saying, Michael?
I said, I'm Uncle Michael.
Uncle Michael. Yes, he is. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's so funny. When we first started working together, it was so easy. I didn't have to explain things. He'd say, well, let's try this, let's try that. And we just started, it like flowed. And you can't believe when you meet somebody like that. And it's just going to be, you know, he made me a better singer. He made me a better performer. I felt the trust. I kept saying to him, oh my gosh, I trust you so much on stage that if I like have a glitch of you know, like I have to take more water or I have to do this or that, he just follows. I said, this is better than great sex. Okay. This is like great sex. So we always make jokes about that too.
And of course she would remember.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yes, for sure.
So, in addition to this, I mean, are both of you very active in terms of planning out the tour that you're putting together, or does someone else handle all of that for you? Do you have someone who's dealing with all of the planning of the different bookings? I mean, you mentioned Fire Island is new. You're going to be at Feinstein's 54 Below. Is Provincetown part of your summer
Provincetown,
tour?
we're doing in the fall, but we're also doing Las Vegas, not Las Vegas, Palm Springs. over Labor Day weekend. But Michael takes care of, I mean, other people will call us, or I'll hear from my publicist, Pete Sanders. Michael has so many connections. Other people will call me empowered artists. And so although I haven't worked with them yet, but I'm now on their roster, which is exciting. And so there will be things to come. But Michael takes care of everything once we get the booking, and he makes sure, you know, I'm being the middle child of 6 and being the one who's always taking care of everything. It's the first time in my life I've ever had someone really take care of me. So that's another part of our strong connection. And that's been a great part of the collaboration, because I'm very mathy too, but Michael is like unbelievably mathy. He just makes sure everything's buttoned up. So it's like, great, I can just perform.
Well, I mean, see, Mary Lou's husband, who's also Michael, he likes all that, you know, the booking of the tickets. I love finding the best deal. I call the club and make sure they know what we need at the club. I love doing all that. I book the musicians, I get them their music. And she said that she's never had that before. Like, she usually does all that stuff. And I'm like, really? And I love doing it. I love that, all that organization. That's my moon in Virgo.
Yeah. And so is mine. My moon. Maybe that's what it is. That's our big connection, moon and Virgo. Probably.
But Michael, don't you think that also comes from your years in the cabaret world, that you know what the needs are, that, you know what they've...
I'm nurturing anyway to begin with. But, you know, when you get it back from somebody, you just makes you want to do and take care of. And I love taking care of things like that. And like, I'm like, you don't have to call the club and find out about their sound stuff. I'm going to do that.
Right.
And
it's great. And what's been so much fun putting these shows together for the next go round at 54 Below is that he's getting to meet all the Grease people who are performing, including, you know, Carol Demas and Eileen Kristen and James Canning, and Phil Kasnoff, Bob Garrett, Mary Small, Muse Small, she's called now, Ellen March, Ray DeMattis. Judy Kay. We've got Judy Kay. She's
I know. It's so exciting.
I know. It's great. And Tom Moore and Ken Wasteman and Jim Jacobs are coming up and talking about their part in the show and everything else, how they put the show together. So it's very exciting. It's really fun. It's been fun to work on it with Michael and with Jim Canning.
As busy as you've been, Michael, have you had a chance to read the book yet?
I have not, but I can't wait to get my own copy, and I want it autographed by everybody in the shows on the 1st and the 6th. No, but I'm so excited about it. Mary Lou told me so much about it when we've been on the road and stuff, so I've known all about it, but I can't wait to get my own copy autographed.
I haven't gotten a copy yet. I called Tom Moore today. I said, "Excuse me, I'm doing all this publicity for the damn book." I said, "I don't even have my copy yet."
The book is absolutely incredible. So I was going to ask you, and I can't ask you my next question. I was going to ask you, having read the book, which you haven't read.
I've read The Galleys. I read The Galleys.
You've read The Galleys. Is there anything that surprised you from reading The Galleys that you did not know about?
No, I think maybe that flight. I mean, I've heard the way there's a certain flight that one of the companies describes that was just horrendous. That was very riveting. But I've known everybody for a long time. And because I did the original Chicago production, there were a lot of stories that I kind of knew already. So what was the most surprising to you?
Well, I mean, the whole idea, I mean, of the move to Broadway. And I mean, it was like, to me, it's like the little engine that could. I mean, the fact that everyone worked together as a family because everyone believed in it so much. The idea of that show that opened in Chicago, the show that Ken Westman first saw, that anyone would have thought that that show had the capability of moving to Broadway because it was a very different animal.
Did you see the show in Chicago?
No, I didn't.
Oh, well, I was in it, and so I can tell you that it was so gritty. It was so much swearing. I always say that my mother wouldn't come to see it because I said "F you" in it 7 times. You know, and I was more like a Patty Simcox in real life because I was always such a goody. But I mean, it was like a
she talks about gritty, and we lose her. See, that's Mercury retrograde in action right there.
It is.
It's Moon and Virgo right there.
Oh, Marilu.
Can she hear you from where she is?
Yes. So we have rehearsal to. Knock the table because it.
Oh, there she is. I love this.
This is so happy.
So,
This is hilarious.
I love it. You know what I'm going to do? I can do this.
that's enough.
Hold on a second here.
Oh.
No, they can't see you here.
Let's see if I can.
What do I do? Should I go get...
No, I'm going to make this so I can see a little bit better. There.
Wait, I'm going to go get something like so not so flimsy. Talk to Marilu. I'll be right there, people.
Okay.
Well, you can see at least that we're in the same place.
Yes.
So
Yes.
This is hilarious. I mean, have you ever had this kind of craziness happen?
Crazy things happen. I go with the flow. I'm used to everything. I'm very patient in this business.
The key to your life is how well you deal with plan B. Because plan A is what you plan, you hope, and dream about. And then plan B.
Last night, I had Ava Cherry on the show. And, and she talks about plan B. Her whole life was always about plan B.
Yes.
Isn't that better?
Yeah, because it's Christ, you did it like this. Okay, so now we're together.
Oh, you look so wonderful together. You belong together.
We do.
You go together.
Heather. Oh, see?
But no, it's going to be really interesting for people to hear how the show in Chicago started, which is another whole story that isn't in the book, really. You know, there isn't a lot in the book about it. But yeah, it's cool. It's really cool.
Just a very different feel from what we are used to. And of course, and I interviewed Adrienne Barbeau about a year ago. She's never seen the movie. Did you know that?
Yeah. No. The movie's so different. It's so different.
It's a very different.
Oh, this is okay. There's a commercial. I don't know if you remember, but when the Broadway show, when Broadway show was going to surpass all the other shows and become the longest running show, that was actually in 79.
1979, the year I came to New York.
Right. Oh, really? December 8th.
I remember the commercial.
Okay, you do. Okay, we're going to show it at the thing, and you're not going to believe who was in that commercial. Do you know?
I don't.
I'll have to show Michael later, but you'll see it the night of the show.
Do you want to tell us? So you can.
Maybe not. I don't know. No. I want to see if people recognize.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's a reason to buy a ticket.
That's right.
Well, I have my ticket, but now I'm in suspense. I think I know.
You want to take a guess and we won't tell you?
I'll give initials.
Okay.
TW?
No.
Okay. No. I'm wrong. Okay.
No.
I'll be there. Cheer you on. And so after Feinstein's 54 Below, where now is Fire Island before?
Fire Island Memorial Weekend. And then June 1st, June 6th at 54 Below is Grease. June 8th is my show. And then here at Vitello's, Feinstein's at Vitello's, 7/7 at 7.
July 7th at 7 p.m.
That's good for people, stickiness, right, to remember. 7/7 at 7. And then Palm Springs, September 3rd, 4th. Right. over that.
Do you do any of your planning by the planets or the stars, Marilu?
I do my planning by, no.
The gigs.
Because I know that, I mean, that when I hear those numbers and everything, I just wonder if you do anything with that planning.
I did offer, when I called Vitellis about putting Marilu there, I did love the idea that we were playing 7/7 at 7, and Marilu, we have to do that.
We have to do it. Yeah. Well, it's so funny is that my first gig at Feinstein's was March 20th, 2020, because they offered me all these dates. They were in April, May, and I went, no, I like March 4th because it's the only imperative command in the entire calendar. March 4th, right? And I can always say that on show, because I love anything that will be sticky for people's memories. So
I want to ask you something about the memories, because the memory is something, as I said earlier, that is legendary with you. Having such the total recall of the memories and remembering the dates and everything, do the feelings of those dates also come up? And is that something that you're able to, how do you deal with the resurgence of the memories coming back as well?
Oh, well, first of all, as an actress, it's invaluable. That's what you study and try to do in exercises in an acting class. And then, also memory's tied to adrenaline. So everybody's going to remember the highs and the lows. I just happen to remember all the little middle of the road, our town kind of moments, And so people always go, oh, what about bad memories? And I always go, you're going to remember them anyway. I get to cushion mine with like a lot of the other ones, Like my siblings will say, hey, Mare, do a week from our childhood. And I'll just go through like a whole week in a summer, that kind of thing. And so it's something I have always known that I've had, but it's something that I've totally embraced too, being an actress and wanting to share that. I lost both of my parents in tragic ways, but I would rather think of their deaths every day than to lose them for even one day, And I just feel like there's so much in developing, this is how I always describe it, why I think having working on your autobiographical memory is so important. If all we ever do is we wake up, we live our lives, we turn off the light, we go to sleep. We wake up, we live our lives, we turn off the light, we go to sleep, and nothing has moved forward, then what does it all mean? So developing a stronger, autobiographical memory, it's our strongest line of defense against meaninglessness that we have, because you're able to take information from your past, bring it to your present, and let it inform a better future. You can check out red flags, or when have I done this before? Or you can say, oh, I need to ask my boss for a raise. What made me feel good the last time? What music powers me up? Things like that. So you're constantly using your own life, and it's a good feeling.
I think it's amazing, and I wish that I had you with me all the time, because seriously, because anyone who knows me, I'm all about celebrating dates and anniversaries and all of these things. And when I did my live show, and all of my guests, I would pick a date and I'd go and I do a show called Friday Wrap-Up Show, and I ask all of my guests now to go and look up 3 things that happened on that day, whether it be someone who was born that day, someone who passed on that day, or a major world event. It could be a movie that opened on that day, a television series, anything that happened on that day, and we talk about it on the show. Because to me, these, as you say, these moments that had an influence on our lives, and they still influence our lives as we go forward. And I think that if we don't pay attention to these things from our past, as you just pointed out, we will repeat, some mistakes again and again and again. And I think it's just a wonderful way of, paying homage to those dates. And you do it on a regular basis.
Sure. I'll go to sleep at night and I'll like time travel, what I call time travel. And what did I do when I was exactly to the day as old as each of my sons? So it's kind of cool.
And it's a fun party trick. I love introducing people to Marilu, and she's like, when were you born? I'm like, that's a Sunday. It's the best party trick. I like taking
Well,
her
it's not
around.
a trick, but it's
No,
like
it's not a trick at all. I just love
I'm his show pony.
I'm so fascinated by the way she does that. And I always used to think like that she saw a calendar in her mind, but she doesn't. It has nothing to do with that, right?
You're right. It's like videos. It's like scene selection on a DVD. It's like just cues up to the day. you know.
But I mean, there are some people who think of it as a parlor trick, and of course, it's not a parlor trick.
Not at all.
It's an amazing gift.
Yeah. No, they wired me, put me through an MRI, took 300 measurements of my brain, and they found 9 areas 10 times larger than the normal brain. And I sing a song about it in the show. You know the song? Well, it's called Highly Superior Autobiographical Memory, or HSAM, right? So we took, and my brother, we took the Peggy Lee song, Because I'm a Woman.
Mm-hmm.
So here, can I sing the first?
Oh, of course, I'd love it.
Okay. I can tell you the day of the week and what I was doing on any given day. I recall every tryst on my list, especially the foreplay. I remember the fall of the big Berlin Wall and what I was eating for lunch. Saddam underground, Kofax on the Mount, Muhammad Ali's jungle punch. 'Cause I have HSAM, capital HSAM. I'll say it again. And then I go through all these different things.
It's brilliant. Her
People
brother,
love it,
her brother is a brilliant lyricist.
Yeah.
And like, it's ridiculous what he writes.
Your brother wrote the lyrics for this?
Yeah.
For special material.
My special. And
What's your brother's name? Let's give a shout out to him.
Lorin Henner, Lorin Henner, Henner. And he's a school teacher, but he just like whips these things up for me, you know, whether it's modern lyrics to Zip, or, you know, a bunch of other things. The thing I tell a story about Dancing with the Stars, and I sing and show videos to the song Pain, you know, the Kander and Ebb song. So he wrote some special lyrics.
Yeah, it's all, and also the whole thing about nutrition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that's a secret.
Quiet.
So as you're putting the show together, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Wait, on May 28th, when we're going to be at Fire Island, she's got her 2 dancer boys with her.
My 2 hottie guys, because we're doing like production numbers, the same show we did at Bucks County. So it's really fun.
You're not bringing the dancers with you to Feinstein's 54 Below, or is there no room for them?
That stage is?
Yeah,
there's barely room for us. It's
but if anyone could make it happen, you two could make it happen.
We could, but we'd all have to go on I'd have to go on a diet for like 3 weeks, and then we could do it. I'd have to go on your diet, Richard, and lose 60 pounds. Then we have room for 1 dancer.
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Thank you. So, you know, I basically in my shows with my homage to James Lipton inside the Actors Studio. So I've got some fun questions. I hope they're fun questions that I'm going to ask each of you. And I'll start with you, Marilu. And if you had to stop doing 10% of what you're doing, what would you give up?
Well, I haven't eaten dairy since August 15th, 1979, which was a Wednesday. But you mean like... what
day did you say?
But I said I gave up dairy August 15th, 1979, which was a Wednesday. That's the start of my health birthday. That's what I consider my health birthday.
I moved to New York on August 5th, 1979.
Oh, wow. Look at that. Oh,
you know what? You know what date? I know what day it was, and
yeah. That was a...
Yes.
Yeah.
So big days in our lives.
Wait, I graduated in 79. I moved to New York October 1st, 79.
What? You never told us that.
No, it was 81. Sorry. I forgot. I tried to go to school to be an accountant, and it didn't work.
Michael, do you know when you and I rehearsed together in Atlantic City with Pudgy?
Oh, yes. What year was that? That was...
1990.
Oh, it was. Okay.
Yeah, it was in 1994, 95. That's when you and I first met.
Really fun.
Pudgy, yes.
Oh.
So if you had to give up if you had to give up one thing from your schedule or life, what would you give up?
Well, last week it would have been my husband, but this week is...
Honey.
No, I'm on my 3rd and final. I adore him.
Okay. And what about you, Michael?
No more alimony payments for her. What would I give up? I'd probably give up, I already gave up sugar. And because of Marilu, I gave up dairy. It's been about, 12 weeks.
Wow.
See what I would give up in my life. You know what? I have that. What do you call it when you have that mentality of like because you're a person that only like takes every job? What is it? I can't think of the word.
Yeah, FOMO.
No, yeah,
fear of missing out.
Fear of Michael Orland.
Yeah.
No, I have that mentality.
I love that.
I don't know where my next job is going to be, so I say yes to everything, and I wish I could give
Yeah, but
up.
that's good. That's a good improv kind of.
It
or you
is.
want to be more discerning?
I would like to be not take jobs because of money or whatever. I'd like to just say, no, I don't want to do that, and I'm not going to do it. Whereas as opposed to doing everything.
Yeah.
That's all.
Michael, you've had an amazing career. Do you really, honest to God, still have that fear?
I think it's just, growing up a young Jewish boy and, everything was, my whole family related happiness to success and money in the bank and a roof over your head. That was it. And so I think it's just been drilled in me my whole life.
Wi-Fi in the house.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, with my Wi-Fi. I'm so embarrassed. I paid somebody yesterday to come over and fix my Wi-Fi, and then Marilu couldn't get on.
Wow.
Okay. Plan B.
Yeah, see, we did with Plan B. Oh.
No, I'm bringing on the risk taking so people can see. We've got 10 people who have signed up. You know what I'm going to give away? I decided I'm going to give away a copy of this book. Okay. I'm going to order this book and give it away to someone. Michael, put in hashtag risk taking, and you may get a copy of the book.
Yeah.
Okay,
we'll make sure.
Okay. And so this is an easy question for both of you because we've talked about it today. Marilu, what is your definition of risk taking?
Risk taking is like, for me personally, would be trusting somebody else to do something that I know just taking a risk and saying, okay, I give myself over to you for this experience. Because I'm very, as my son says, my mom is very, she likes to organize things. She likes to run things, not even a control thing. If I see a shortcut, I think I size things up so quickly that I'll be like, okay, no, this is the shortcut, because I think back to when we did it before or whatever. So I think risk taking would be acquiescing to somebody else, even when I know I could do a better job, or risk taking would be doing something out of my comfort zone as an actress, which I don't think I've been allowed to do yet. So I might have to create my own thing, some kind of character that no one would ever expect me to play. That would be risk taking, but it's something I really want.
Okay. And Michael?
I think every day is that we take risks. I mean, honestly, I'm trying to think of I was trying to think of stuff when Marilu was talking about it. I don't know. I think I have some of the same traits of her of going, wait, here's the faster way and easier way to do it. Let's not waste so much time. But I think that, we're in show business. I wish I could see what Celeste just texted me. She probably just texted me an answer, but I can't look. It's funny. I think every day we take risks and, being in show business and are we doing the right thing? And are we, even just whatever, you have a bad show, it's every day
you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
You feel like,
you
it's like having your baby.
And, well, I never did that, but.
Well, there's still time, Michael.
I just renewed my earthquake insurance. So, do you have an earthquake insurance?
Of course. Yeah.
All right. I didn't want it because it's such a ripoff. But
I know.
And they don't cover anything. And my insurance man said, "Yes, do it." So
there's a big one coming. Yeah.
So there's a big one coming, but I hope Marilu and I are not anywhere near you.
That's why we're taking a lot of things out of time.
Exactly.
I hope you're on fire. Well, I hope that's not going to be anytime soon. So, Marilu, when did you have the weakest self-confidence in your career, and what got you through it?
I think as a good Catholic schoolgirl, I've always had this overall faith in things. There's not so much a master plan, but if I keep putting one foot in front of the other, that something will happen. I'm very let go, let God about certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I went through a really bad time around the time of Andy Kaufman's death in 1984. And it was I just started to see, what am I really doing? I know I'm in show business and I want to do more. I want to do better work. There were some disappointments that had happened in terms of films that I had chosen, but his death really shook me. And I think because we had just worked together for so long, for 5 years, I got to see him all the time. We became good friends. And when I saw him a couple of months before he died, it was such a turn. I had never seen anyone fall apart that quickly. And his death really shook me to my core.
Wow.
So I'd say
And
that.
Michael?
I was just thinking about Andy. What was the thing? I forgot.
When did you have the weakest self-confidence in your career, and what got you through it?
I know people don't believe me. I am actually a really shy person. I am not with the people I know and love and in a small circle, but I am not the most confident person. That's why when I work with these young kids, I love working with them because I recognize me in them.
Their vulnerability.
And their lack of confidence and whatnot. I think the only place I don't lack confidence is in my playing. And, although I don't think I'm the most technical person, I just know I know how to follow a singer, and I know how to breathe with a singer and be one with somebody that I'm working with, which I love to do. I love it. And so like Marilu can do a song different every night, and I would just be there.
He's just there. I'm telling you.
But like that,
Better
I
than
think
sex.
it's
like great sex. It's like great sex.
Anyway, but I think that I think I have to work on my confidence every day, every single day. And like I say to my students who are going into an audition, I go, you have to just fake it until you start believing it. You will buy it.
And you're never going to totally believe it. I mean,
right.
It's crazy. I was talking to my sister about people in our family. I was like, I can't believe they don't have any confidence. They're so fabulous. They're amazing. And she said, because there were only 10 confidence coupons for the whole family, and you took 9 of them. And
my God. Wow.
There was a 10th.
Oh my goodness.
There were 4 sisters, and I was the ugly duckling. Trust me, I was the ugly duckling. But I always thought, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to have energy. I'm going to whatever. I want to have a career in showbiz. So I'm going to, I think if you have this faith in yourself, it gives you confidence. And even if the rest of the world is telling you you suck, it doesn't matter. It's like this intrinsic faith in yourself. If you have that and you feel like, I'm going to figure it out, I'll just figure it out. How can I be better? I'll figure it out. I don't mind, I don't mind criticisms. People can say horrible things to my face. People can write terrible things about me. It's like, okay, let me look at it from that angle. I've never been afraid of feedback or hearing terrible things. And when you feel that way, then nothing can hurt you. You just keep going.
Marilu is actually one of the only performers I've ever heard to say to people after a show, did you like it? Did you not like it? Tell me everything. Give me notes. Give me notes. Tell me what you thought. And I think that's
how you get
amazing.
better.
I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Most people have egos too big for that.
They're like that. No, I always want to get better.
I do too. Absolutely. I want to be 1% better tomorrow than I was today. Always.
Yes.
I have a calendar on my desk. It's a positivity calendar. And I pulled a passage from the calendar today, and I'm going to read this. Some days I wish that I could wave a magic wand and make everything better for everyone. Since I can't, I focus on doing what I can for myself and others. So today's self-love action, today let me focus on what I can do for myself and others, like being nice to strangers, putting myself first with my finances, teaching a child about loving kindness, or taking meaningful action on something in the larger world that's bothering me and seems unfair. So I want to ask you, before today's show, Marilu, what positivity action did you take, either for yourself or putting out into the world?
Oh, okay. Well, I was at home. So no, but I'm working on the Grease script. We were just trying to figure out how to best show off everybody in the show. Jim Canning and I were working on the script today. So I'm also the room aunt for my little nephew. So I was doing some things about that. And this is my 9th time as room parent or aunt. I've been his room aunt twice. So anything I can do for my niece and nephew, or I can do for their school, I'm always looking to do things like that. So I'd say.
Great. Good for you. And great for being there.
I'm always positive.
Yes,
I try to be positive about everything. And Celeste always makes fun of me because even in like the darkest and most negative of times, I'm like, we have to just keep moving forward. And I think that it keeps us going, and you know what I mean? It's like,
for sure. Yeah, my biography is called By All Means Keep on Moving. And
Exactly. Great.
Also, motion is the lotion. Motion is the lotion. And that not only applies to exercise because you want to keep all your joints lubricated, but it's like, you know, it like greases everything. Motion.
See, grease, get it?
Grease. Michael, what is the most satisfying thing that you do each day or each week?
The most satisfying. I'm trying to think. Will you help me?
Jinx, for sure.
Probably definitely something with my dog.
Yeah.
Because my dog, you know, they say, you know, like I got my dog like a month before the pandemic happened, and then like you could not get rescue dogs anymore for a while, and she has definitely helped me through it. I think she has a little separation anxiety from me, but I have a lot of it from her. It's like I'm way worse than she is. But wonderful. I think my dog gets me through. I'm sorry, that's one of our plans.
No, that's a plane going over.
Oh my God. Don't flush.
Marilu, what's one big challenge that you faced this week, and what one powerful lesson did you learn from that challenge?
Oh, this past week?
This past week.
Well, my husband and I have been going through some tough times lately because we've been, you know, separations. I mean, not separation. He's the love of my life, and there's nothing that's going to happen. But, you know, we're like very real with each other, very real. And so there's something about the two of us together that's magical, but also very feisty. And so this has been like a tough week for that, but it's been very, I mean, you know, we had a 5-show weekend, as I always say, when we have sex a lot. And so, serious, we just like, hey, baby, we're going to have a 5-show weekend. And we did, because we have to, you know, that's our glue and that's how we connect. But, you know, Friday we were screaming at each other and then made up for it the rest of the weekend. So.
But isn't that like the best, that when you can get through that stuff and grow with it? I mean, like,
we're like more in love today than ever. And not just because of the sex. That was the result of our really, like a real come to Jesus for the two of us.
And then our couple, when you are with them and with their whole family. I mean, Marilu has an amazing, Marilu and Michael have an amazing family. Yeah. And I've gotten to spend so much time with them, and it just feels right and great and powerful and strong around them.
Oh, thank you. You want to hear a really crazy fast story? Okay, so our usual, the person who's like one of my best friend who cuts hair, she's out of town. She's working with Reese Witherspoon and doing a show in Greece. So my ex-husband called me and he said, do you have a new hair cutter? And I said, oh yeah. And I gave him the name. And so anyway, and it's a hair cutter and a colorist. Michael and I, because I called the colorist, I said, oh, I'm going to bring my husband in with me. He's going to get his hair cut while I get my color. It's like, okay, great. So I get there with Michael. 2 minutes later, my ex-husband walks into the shop. You don't even know the story. No. And I said, oh my God. She said, oh, I didn't hear ex-husband. I heard husband. And I thought husband was that. I didn't know there were going to be two husbands here.
I love it.
Oh, we're such good friends. We're the parents of our children. So we're like all, you know, I mean, my children are with my second husband. And we were just like, and people go, that's so crazy. And I go, no, that's how you have to be in life. You know, when you love somebody, and even if your relationship changes, you still love that person. You know, there's a bond there forever. So, yeah.
I love that. Michael, what kind of a relationship did you have with your parents, and were they supportive of your pursuits?
You know what? I mean, they are very supportive now. I think they always, I mean, my parents paid for me to take piano lessons from when I was 4 years old till I was a senior in high school. They did not encourage me to study music. And that's why, again, I refer back to, like, I have so many students that are 7 to 17 years old, and they come with their parents to my studio. And I love seeing a supportive parent, you know, just letting these kids follow through with what they're passionate about, which I had that. But my family was like, oh, let's send you to accounting school because you love math and you love numbers. And then on April 16th, after tax day, you'll sit at your piano and, like, you know, chill out and play songs for people. But so I did drop out of school after 2 years, and I promised my mother and father that if I ever didn't get a job because I didn't have a degree, that I would go back to school, and I thankfully never had to go back. But I think that I was definitely encouraged. I love my family. I had two of the greatest grandmothers in the world. One is named Jinx, who my dog is named after, and my other grandmother, Dorothy Orland. I mean, like, they were the best, greatest things in my life. And just like, I love my family. I get along with everybody. I'm the Libra that loves everybody. Even when other people don't talk for a minute, I'm like the peacemaker and the I love everybody. And we should all just be together. Life is too short for any of that crap. So, but they are the most supportive family now. And, you know, they couldn't be more supportive, except I have to send them checks. So it's a little backwards.
Well, I love what Jane Fonda said. There needs to be a statute of limitations as to how long you hold on to the stuff that happened many years ago. So let go of that and move on. So
listen, I'm so happy that my parents did what they did. They did
me with my parents. I agree with you. I totally agree.
The best they could, and which was perfect for me.
Yeah. Sometimes you just have the right parents.
Yes, and I turned out to be a nightmare because of them, and it's fine.
So this is my last question, and you can decide who gets to go first. What do you consider the most, and this is because of both of you today, what do you consider the most valuable quality in a friend?
Most valuable, I right away I was thinking sense of humor, because that's really important, and a certain loyalty, you know, a certain, like, you know, that you can be, they get you at your best and they get you at your worst. You know, it's like that famous quote about, you don't get me at my, you know, if you can't handle me at my worst, at my best, or whatever the quote is, you know what I mean? So it's like, I think that somebody that you can ride the wave with, that it's not like you have to, you know, check to see if I think that that's very important.
And Michael?
I have to literally 100% agree with Marilu. I say sense of humor, number one, because that's my first thing I go to. But trust and loyalty is everything. And so when you can trust a friend to be whoever you are, whatever you're going through, and they can be there for you, that's everything. And loyalty, absolutely.
And you feel that from people. You know,
do.
You know, I have some great girlfriends that I know, you know, you need that soft place to land, because we're not always at our best, and we're not always our shining thing, you know. What is Celeste saying?
Celeste is texting me, and I'm afraid to look because
we'll knock it off.
We'll do it afterwards. I'm going to give away a book, so don't go anywhere for a moment. I am going to give away a copy of Grease. Tell me more. Tell me more. This book is incredible. And let's see who's going to get the book. Rose Apuzzo. So congratulations, Rose. Don't go anywhere for a moment. I want to say a few words, and then Michael and Marilu, you're going to have the final word today, and we'll get to you in just a moment. I want to thank you both so much. If you had as much fun as I did, I just loved you both for being here today. And thank you for being here. Thank you, Tess and Marianne and everybody who made this happen. This was such a treat for me today. Risk-taking. Everybody take those risks. Life is too short not to do it. I saw something this morning, and it said, go to each of your social media platforms and try to go to 3 sites that are uplifting and try to sign on to those 3 sites. And there's so many negative sites out there right now. Let's try to obliterate those from social media. Social media to me is about engagement. With each post that you see, you can comment, you can like, you can share when it's positive. If it's negative, hide it or delete it, get rid of it. And we can all lift each other up. And let's take those risks and let's do it. And let's build the world up and make it a better place. I also want to thank you all for being here today. If this was your first time, I hope it will not be your last. I've got 2 shows coming up next week,
Oh,
celebrating Greece. On the 28th, I have Tom Moore on the show. And then on the 31st, I have original cast members from Greece that are going to be on the show. So be here. It's going to be an exciting night. So please subscribe to the channel if this is your first time. After today's show, please go to YouTube and leave a comment with your thoughts about the show. Share this with your friends. I also end every show by telling everyone to go out and do something nice for somebody else without expecting anything in return. Go to your Facebook friends list and reach out to the 7th name on your list, and reach out with a phone call. Not an email message, not a text message, not a private inbox message, but a phone call. And let that person know what they mean to you. I have a dear friend, Sean Moniger. Do you know Sean, Michael? Sean Moniger always says, we're all in this together, but we're not in the same boat. And I always say, if you're going to go out in a boat, make sure you bring a skipper along. Now, you never know what someone else is going through right now. But what I want you all to do is go to Amazon.com or your favorite bookseller and order, if you can, 2 copies of this book. Keep one for yourself and send one as a gift to that 7th friend on your list, and let them know what they mean to you, and pass it on and on and on. This is already #1 on Amazon. Did you know this?
No.
Yeah.
Is it really?
It's #1 on Amazon.
On all of.
Yes.
Is it #1 theater or all of Amazon?
On all of Amazon.
Theater, right?
Yes, on all of Amazon.
Oh,
it's
wow.
#1. But you can get it to be #1 on the New York Times bestsellers list by buying it. So I'm going to leave the screen right now, and I'm going to give the screen to both of you. And you've got the final word about anything that we talked about today that you want to build upon, anything that we didn't talk about that you wish we had, or just any final message. Don't worry about how to end it. As soon as you say goodbye, the credits will roll. I love you both, and I will see you on June 1st. Enjoy the Fire Island for both of you. And now it's all of yours.
Oh my God, my internet thing.
Oh,
okay, wait,
so we don't know. We're on.
I think we're on.
We're on.
You're in the show.
Okay. So my advice would be, in terms of this risk taking, don't be from the school of, if I keep quiet, then they'll let me live. Take risks. Don't just stay at 0 on the number line. Even if you end up at -1, you're better off even attempting to go to the plus side, the minus side. It's going to be bad days. Just ride the wave. And now I've used every cliche in the book. Yeah, something will connect with you. It's all a process, and it's such a beautiful gift that we get to live this life.
And who can top that? She's my favorite. I love her. And please come see our shows.
Yes.
And come to May 28th in Fire Island.
Yes.
And June 1st, June 6th, June 8th.
Feinstein's 54 below. If you.
That's right.
And I'll.
We'll bump with each other. We'll do a Howie Mandel